Tube family! Welcome to another Tube Family Homestead live stream. Woo!
Well, it is Tuesday. So, how is everybody doing tonight? Is it raining where you are at? We're getting a real wet week this week. And I know they are, at least was somewhere in Texas, wherever they're having the race. Because they were rained out Sunday, they were rained out yesterday, and
It's another hurricane.
they're supposed to start at 8:30 tonight, maybe, if they can. So, all right. So anyway,
I have to quit my channel as my phone won't download any more YouTube.
as your phone won't download anymore to YouTube. Prairie Girl, I don't know what your techniques were or what kind of phone you have or anything like that, but I can tell you that that YouTube accepts files from phones and computers and servers and whatever else people can throw at it. So, like I said, I don't know what that is, but anyway, glad you stopped in. For those of you that have been around for a while with me, you know, we used to, and we still do. We used to talk real highly about Filmora. This was back in the days of the version 8. Shortly after they landed on the version 8. And then when they went to 9, I didn't have many good things to say about it. But they got better. And, well, they've done it again. They've come out with a version 10. So let's just see once how this editor has evolved. Now, let me start out by saying one of the best things about this editor is if you do as I recommended years ago and buy the lifetime version, which was like $10 more at that time, I think, yeah, it was $10 more than the annual version. And at that time, I think it was $50 when I bought it, but it did go all the way up to, I think, $70 perhaps. But if you bought the lifetime version, you have it. You own it. You have the lifetime version, and you will get all the updates. So if you got that clear back into version 7, early 8s, well, they are now on version X or version 10. And all of those updates, every one of them, has been free. Doesn't cost you a dime. They have another way that they lure you in to maintain a monetary turnover in their business. And, of course, that's with effects and title packages and fancy things that you don't need any of, but they are kind of neat. So, anyway, that's their business model, and that's how they do it, and that's fine. It took us the longest time to, and I still don't think we're quote-unquote recognized at all by Filmora, but we've done the Filmora stuff on Tuesday nights, going back easily a couple of years, maybe 3, I don't know. Anyway, there is a link. There is a link in the description below. It says Filmora. If you are so inclined to decide, well, this looks like this is a piece of software I'd like to own. And yeah, you heard me right. I said own, because if you buy the lifetime license, you essentially own the software. All the rest of the updates are free. then click on that link down there. I think we get maybe $2.93.5 or something if you do that. So, of course, in lieu of that, if you just want to send us a $20 super chat, well, that's great. But no, I'm teasing. Let's take a look at the Wondershare, which is the home company of Filmora. Let's take a look at one of their websites. So let me bring that up. If you just do a general search for Filmora or Wondershare, chances are this is the page you are going to land on. And sometimes it's real hard to get away from that. But I want you to notice this is not Filmora X. This is still Filmora 9. And again, I don't know why. I don't know why they do this. Most companies, when they come out with a new software, you gotta pull hen's teeth and beg in numerous emails to get a previous version. Well, this is still the primary one that comes up, Filmora 9. Don't know why, but it is. This is a site, or this is a page that you would want to get to download Filmora X. Now, this is for Windows. Now, the editor has a Windows version and a Mac version. If you are running a Mac computer, an Apple computer, one of those with the bite out of the apple, I can't help you. Nobody can help you. You have a Mac. But this is the page that you want to get on, and of course for the Mac version it would be probably the same page, that not looked. Well, that's interesting. We'll do it this way. Oh, I see. That just switches the OS for the download here. So it doesn't change the page at all. So Windows 10, Windows 8, or Windows 7. I don't know why they carry it out that way, but that's what they do. Filmora is overall, it's a great product. I don't know where their heads are a lot of times, but overall, it's a great product. And there is tons of information out here about it. It does support 4K. It will render your videos in standard definition, high definition, or 4K. It has a feature in it that it can do scene detections automatically. They have a rather substantial title library area that, well, just keep in mind, any font that you have installed on your PC, it can pick up and use. So if you have 1,000 fonts on your PC, you've got 1,000 different fonts you can use in the titles. They have a music library. This is a love-hate thing, because it says royalty-free songs and sound effects. I have had a couple in the past claims on them, and they were allowed, but I still had to appeal the claim and say, hey, I own the Filmora software, and this came with it, and we'll show you those here in a little bit. I have a large selection of overlays and filters and transition and elements. Some of the featured things they have is the green screen, The audio mixer is getting stronger and stronger every time they do an update. Pan and zoom. The advanced text editing, edit the color, size, font, and even animation. It's one of the simplest ones to do of all the editors, and it does a pretty good job. This color tuning is something that's a little bit, they've started playing with that actually back in 8, but they're really getting into it at this point. Color tuning is real good right now. They have a screen recording feature built into the program, which is also very nice. They have an audio equalizer, so you can go in and custom tune your audio output to your liking, or perhaps just use that equalizer to minimize some noise and so forth. They have a video stabilization, which let's face it, we've all done it. You hand hold a camera and you shake, you're walking, you're getting this bouncing. This video stabilization, it doesn't wipe it completely out, but it does make it look a lot better. And of course, you can do a split screen with Filmora, and they have a large selection of 3D LUTs. LUTs are for color grading on your videos.
They still don't do the multi-camera, right?
Well, you can do multi-camera, but having said that, there is no automatic synchronization.
I think that's what Misty was talking about.
Yeah, there is no automatic synchronization. So now, since this was brought up, I have to say it. This is where Power Director excels, because I could put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different video files that were all taken at the same time from different vantage points. And obviously you can't start 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different cameras all at the same time. So if you drop those all into the timeline in Power Director and just say sync by audio, it automatically shifts and puts them all together so that, geez, all of a sudden the lips match the
Thomas has a question for you.
match the song. Okay, Thomas Schmidt Homestead Projects. Wipe out the old stuff in 9 like it did when I updated from 8. And didn't I work with you on that? Because 9 really didn't really wipe out 8. It just sort of hid it. It created a new set of folders. And if you went back to the old folders, it was all there. And you could still use it. Now, as far as the version X, version 10, I installed it. I did nothing special. I just did a bone stock install, and all of my files, all my projects, everything was there from before. Everything was there from before. So, as far as the Filmora, please note that what we're talking about here right now is we're talking about the desktop version of Filmora. They have an Android or a phone version that's free that a lot of people use and like. But
Carrie said when she upgraded her phone to a Samsung, it wasn't compatible.
Okay, and I don't know. I do not edit on a phone.
Yeah, well, she was answering someone else's question
Okay.
earlier. That's
All
why
right.
I saw that.
So The you can import and export in a wide variety of formats. Pretty much everything you can think of it, and they do have them listed here. So an MP4, an AVI, H.261, H.264, FLV, MKV, M4V, 3GP, MOV, MPEG, and on. Audio the same way, all these different formats. And as far as just photos, if you want to insert photos and stuff, what it doesn't support SVGs, or ESPs. It doesn't support those, but it does support your standard photo file formats. And of course, you can share this. You can have it create the videos to match a device. So if you wanted to, if you were only doing, I'm gonna cook myself in the morning. If you were only going to do shorts, you could do this for a phone, and you'd be all set. A lot of automatic things take place behind the scenes there. Standard HD video, as well as 4K. The ability is there to actually create your video and upload it directly to YouTube or Facebook. And yes, it works. And no, I do not recommend it. If you utilize this function and have any problem, I cannot help you. There's too many issues that I've seen that take place here where maybe there's an internet outage in the course of the upload and it doesn't recover well, or it's trashed the file. So I do not recommend this. I always recommend for you to render your video locally, have it complete, look at it, test it, make sure it's what you want to upload to YouTube or Facebook or any other platform that you might be uploading to. Make sure it's what you want, and then upload that raw footage.
Susie says she has version 8.3.5 on her desktop. Guess I need to update.
Wow, bandana. Yeah, that's going back a little bit. So let me just talk a little bit about that then. There is a feature in Filmora that will check for updates. You have the ability to turn it off if you want. I'm betting that Susie's is turned off. But although it recognized that I was eligible and ready to get a new version of Filmora, the automatic portion would not work for me. I tried it for 3 days, and the automatic portion would not work for me. So I had to go to the website and I had to download the Filmora X and just install it. That worked fine. Once I found it, I ran into this thing that I showed you earlier, that I was on the page that I'm on here right now, and it kept coming up till Filmora 9. Well, this is not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. So they are not a small company. They have also partnered with FilmStock to come up with some special effects, some stuff that you would, well, and you have to buy it through Filmora, but they do have some free. They do have some free stuff. If you want to take the next step Filmora Pro is a lot more robust editor. It's more money, and it's definitely tougher to work with. But you can do some things in it that you absolutely cannot do with the standard version, and you really don't need that one. If you were gonna step up, I would bypass the Pro and I would go to a different one like Cybernetics, DaVinci Pro, something like that. Their Learning Center is very, very good. And their Support Center is also very good. Let's talk a little bit about if you want to pick up on some.
Carrie has a question for you.
Have you played enough with? Oh yes, yeah, it definitely works better than 9, without question. Carrie, it's yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I didn't know if Windows, if Windows inserted that in there for you or if you did it, but I knew what you were talking about. There is a fella that's he's pretty darn good. His name's Daniel Battelle, and it's this character right here. I like him. He's pretty good sized YouTuber, I think 157,000 subscribers or something to that effect. And he, as far as I know, was the only paid spokesperson for Filmora. So Filmora actually paid him to create videos. And he's good. He's very good. What was very interesting to me is about a month ago, this was before Filmora 10 came out, he put out a video that said, "Goodbye, Filmora. Filmora 9, goodbye. Filmora 10 was not in the pipeline. As far as I know, nobody knew anything about it." And he pretty much parted ways with Filmora. And said, it was nothing against the company or anything like that. He just felt he couldn't go any further with them because he had done everything. Well, he's back with Filmora 10. And, of course, this is also, again, a sponsored Filmora video. But if you look back, if you just do a search for like Filmora X, you're going to find Daniel's videos here, and you're going to find some other good tutorials. Now, this one here, Filmora X tutorial for beginners in 12 minutes complete. I'm sorry, I don't think you can do a complete tutorial in 12 minutes. I don't care who you are.
That would be one for me.
But, well, at least wise, I would have problems understanding this guy. So, Teacher's Tech, he's easy to understand, and he does a lot of. What I'm trying to do here is to give you guys some resources. And what I'm saying is, if you just do a YouTube search under Filmora X, you're going to find these. I would recommend, without question, Daniel Battelle, any of his videos. Teacher's Tech is a good one. I don't know this user Nash, although he's got almost 3,000 views on this video from a week ago.
Susie has a question for you.
All right, you want to know if I think I covered that earlier, Susie, but let's go back and look here. Maybe it was on the Filmora 9 that I saw that. Well, Filmora 9 would work on Windows 7. Susie, we got to get you updated here. Let's find out. Will Filmora X looks to me like it will, Susie. Yeah, that's Windows X. So supported operating systems are Windows 7, Windows 8.1, and Windows 10. They are showing it's 64-bit. So you run 64-bit in your on your laptop there, Susie? They are saying 4 gig of RAM is certainly recommended, and if you're going to do HD or 4K videos, they're saying 8 gig. They are recommending you have a graphics card. And they do tell you that you should have at least 10 gig free hard disk space. And if you're going to render
64-bit.
high definition of 4K, they recommend a solid state disk. Okay. So this is their system requirements. Okay. Now we covered you, Susie. You're good to go. If you want, you can. All right, it's going to scare me to say this, but I am going to say it. If you want to change the default folder that you are installing in, chances are you can run 2 different versions on your PC, not at the same time, but sort of at the same time. You could light one up and then close it down and light the older one up, or whatever you wanted to do. I have an idea. If you're still on 8, it's going to want to go in and either create all new folders. I don't know what the I don't know what what version 10 will do as far as overwriting or leaving things alone. I just don't know. All right, let's jump back to where we were at here. Some of the other ones, Creator's Theory, I don't think you guys would care for him. Another one, all right, this is Wondershare's own. Of course, Teacher's Tech, I mentioned him earlier. This is their own Wondershare Filmora video editor, their own YouTube channel. But Daniel Battelle is probably, I'm going to say Daniel Battelle and Teacher's Tech. Those are the two you'd probably want to jump on the most. Now, this is another one here. It's Justin Brown from Primal Video. He's another very, very good one. All right. So that's some of your resources. Let's find out what is new in this version. That's what we're here to talk about. What's new? And we're just going to go back through some versions here. So what's new? Motion tracking. This is a great, fun thing. Susie, you can make your fairies just dance all over the room with motion tracking. So motion tracking is a big thing. Keyframing, another big thing. And I'm going to speak out here to Susie again. Between the motion tracking and the keyframing, Susie, your fairies will just have your house clean and Christmas things all over your house in no time at all.
How's your cats?
You're okay. Good deal. Grizz, I don't know why you're afraid of 10. It's only one number above 9. So they have a color match feature in there now. It works very well from what little bit I've played with it. It does a great job. Audio ducking. Well, you could do manual audio ducking before, but this is more automated. It does a fair job. You still may want to do some hand editing to do that. And what I mean by audio ducking is where, let's say you have some background music going, but as soon as somebody talks, the background music dips down in volume so that it's not over compelling on the person's voice.
Susie says, but it's 3 numbers above 7. Grizz has a question for you.
Is it possible to do a slide motion from full screen down to quarter? Yes, it is, Chris. Most certainly is. You can do that with keyframing. And if you want to get real fancy with it, you can actually you can spin that window down into a corner. I mean, it can either just move down into a corner, or you can have it. You can add other animations if you'd want. I don't know if you all like to use keyboard shortcuts or not. Some people hate them. Other people just live by them. But this has the ability to use, there's an editor where for different commands you can actually edit what they have set for a default function and set your own keys or key combinations to make that function operate when those keys are pressed. Great feature. Of course, they're saying a new UI. Switch dark and light mode. Switch between light and dark mode for all-day editing comfort. They've had light and dark mode for years, so I'm not understanding why they're making a big deal out of this. And what I mean by light and dark mode is this is dark mode. This is dark mode. And of course, this is light mode. So light mode is your white background, and the dark mode is a kind of a dark gray. Or if you have set your system up to switch around, you can just use the system default. Okay, let me minimize that. We'll jump back into here. Plain text, added flexibility to editing using plain text. Advanced title editing. This is for Windows only. You can change the position, rotation, and scale of a title as a whole on the player itself. And that I can show you very, very quickly here. So if, let's get a title here, and we'll just go with this basic title. If you press this little plus key, it'll add it to a timeline. So here it is. And if I double click on it, so that I'm going to work on this title, there's a little window pops up right here called the Title Group Controller. And what this does as a whole is a very quick way to resize the title. So I can scale it. I can make it bigger or smaller. I can rotate it. So I can make it go any direction. And of course I can actually change the location of it. Right now it's centered in the center. But let's say well, that wasn't enough for you to probably pick up on. I moved it 5 pixels to the right, so let's do 100. Now you'll be able to see it jump better. So it's just a way to finally set where you want that to be. Of course, in the advanced, this is where a lot of the magic comes in. The alignment feature now jumps over here. And you align it to the right, bottom corner. But because I've enlarged it, you see it's actually off the screen. Don't worry about it. You can always pull it out. And as you move it around the screen, you're going to get centering lines on the screen.
Is this only in Filmora X?
This alignment feature, yes. As far as the customize title, this is in going back numerous versions. You could do that. Of course, you can also change the opacity so you can see through it. You can blur it. And you can do graduated colors, solid color, different effects on the lettering. But that's nothing new. Animation, this too is nothing new. And you just simply double click on it to see what it's going to do. And once you've found something that you like, you can save it as a custom title. And of course, if you go in and open up a custom title, you can still edit it from that standpoint. But if you wanted to, let's say make an intro and have a custom title, this would give you the same title path to start with every single time. So that's kind of a neat feature. Nope, we're not going to save any changes here. And of course, what you're looking at here, this is Filmora X. You can always tell what version by going to the help screen and going to About. So this is version 10.0.0.90. So that's what version I have here. If you go to that Help tab, this is where you can manually check for an update. My current version is the latest version, it's telling me. This is where I had a problem. And I'll just share this with everybody. It told me there's a newer version out there. Do you want to update? And I said, sure. It wouldn't do it. It would fail every time. So I left it sit, tried it for 3 days, and then I decided I'm going to go get it myself because I want to see what the latest version is. And of course, I'm not big enough that Filmora, it calls me on the phone and says, hey, here's $1,000 to make a video, and here's the latest software. Here's the link to go get it. They just don't do that to me. So that's the way it goes. They have a lot of good video titles. If you've worked with Filmora in the past, you're going to spot a lot of creators out there that have used Filmora or are still using Filmora. This is a real popular title. I had to download it here. If I highlight that, I should just be able to play it here. No, because it's playing down here. There we go. I'm sure you folks have all seen this title on some people's videos. But off the top of my head, off Grid with Doug and Stacy, they use Filmora or did use Filmora. There's a lot of folks that do, and you can spot a lot of these titles in their videos. And of course, the credits where they're scrolling up. All right, so enough of the titles. Let me jump back to media. They give you some sample videos in here. I'm going to get rid of this title. We'll take it off the timeline. And
Susie, please show me again where I check for update.
okay, where you check for updates if you're in the program. And this applies to most programs. If you're in the program, go to the Help tab. The Help tab. And in this nice list over here, let's check for updates. And there's another, there's a whole host of various things in the Help tab here. You can get to the Support Center. There's a quick start. There's links to some basic help questions. If you are running a proxy server on your network, it has settings in here for that. If there's something that you would like to see them make, here's a new feature request. I don't think they ever acknowledged anything I ever requested. Filmora on YouTube, Filmora on Facebook, and Filmora on Twitter. And their product page and the About. And the About tells you what version you have. And of course, check for updates. That will let you know if there's a newer version out there. I believe that to be exactly the same on a Mac as well, but I don't have a Mac, so I can't say. But I believe it to be the same. All right, so let's get a couple of these little clips in here. So what I've done with these is I've just clicked on the little plus sign, which will insert it into the first available timeline wherever the marker is at. Now, if I want this spread out so I can see it better, I can move over to here. Let me, so you can see where the cursor is. I'm drawing circles around it. And you can take that and you can just slide it to the right. As you can see, I kind of ran off over here. So I have to, there we go. Now that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is just to go up here to this, where the reference point is for the minutes and seconds and frames, where the arrow becomes horizontal. If you hold down the primary function key, you can just drag it out as well, which is another way to do that. But I'm doing this for a reason, and we'll get to that here in a second. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of these clips. And you can see here, playing them, and it will just jump from clip to clip. Of course, then it'll stop here at the end. And a lot of these settings can be changed in preferences, but this I believe is all default. If there's a square box up in your preview window, that will move it back to the beginning. If you're playing and want it to pause, you click on the two lines. If you want to split it, you can just click on the little scissors here and it will split this clip in two. So if you wanted to insert something right here at this point, that's what you would do, is you would cut the clip, which I've done. So now it's taken this second clip and it's made it into two parts. Now you can't tell that. It's seamless until I put something in it. So let's just say that I want to add this orange color in here. And at this point,
Bandana, clicking on check update shows I have version 8.3.5 and said I had the latest version. Her computer must be on drugs.
okay, well, that could be that okay. Checking on check update, it shows that had the latest version. Said I had the latest version. Well, maybe I don't know, Susie. Obviously, you don't. If it's version 8.3.5, that is not the latest version.
She has a question for you.
Okay. Can you split through the clip and the music and title so when they all move over, you insert something? Well, in essence, that's what I did here. I just inserted this color swatch, if you would. It could have been a JPEG, could have been a picture. And I just dropped it into here, and it pushed everything else to the right. If there is a back arrow, which is located, let me get my little ring going here, right over here. So you can see in the screen where my cursor is located. So back arrow, you click on that, and that just took it back out. Now if I decided, well, I really didn't want to take it out, I want to put it back, there is also a forward arrow. I can put it back in there. Now, you ask about moving things on the track automatically. That's what they call a ripple effect. And that's what this is right here. Automatic ripple off or on. And what this shows is like a little chain link. So this is the ripple on and this is the ripple off. With the ripple off, it just blindly insert it in there, and everything else should remain in the same location. So if I had another track here that had music and the only track I was messing with was the video track, it would insert that into the video track and the music would just be whatever it was. So if you had a voiceover track, you didn't do anything there. If in fact you cut that and you tried to insert this into the area where it was cut, well, then you're pushing it aside. So that's a real quick thing on how to insert something here. If you look closely, you can see every place there's a little arrow up here is a split. So this is where I split that track. I cut that track. If I go back further, it just took that back out. Now that's all back into one piece again. And I can take it and I can move it onto a different track and do whatever I need to do with it. But the transitions that I want to talk, that's what I want to talk about next, and that's what brought all of this other stuff up. Transitions are a way to go from one scene to another. I don't want to say one track to another, but one video clip to another video clip in a controlled method rather than a hard change. So just for example, this says warp. I'm going to drop this right down here between the first and second clip. And let's see what that did to it here. If you notice, it like zoomed in and kind of snapped it around. If I take that off, now we should look at that same area again. See, that was just very, very sharp. Let's do a different one. And if you notice, that kind of flipped the screen. Now, you can edit these. If you go into where that transition is located, just double click on it. It opens up over here. It gives you the duration of the transition. How long is it gonna last for? Is it going to be an overlap? You want it just on the first clip? You want it just on the second clip? So there's a lot of different ways you can set these up. For the most part, default's going to be fine. If you bring another transition down, it just replaces the one under it. You can't have a transition on top of a transition. Okay, effects. That's what we want to get to. Well, the effects goes into a different line, if you would. And we'll just show you what it looks like here. Did you see it kind of glitching the colors? Here, we'll just go through it slow here. It's offsetting the your three primary colors. Into a glitch effect. Now you can stretch that out further. I mean, we could do that for this entire first part of the video here. Don't like it? Just take it out. You can come in here and spend some time. Spend some time with these. See what they do. Think of different places you can use them. There's a crop. There's what's called a. It makes it look like you're looking through a camera lens.
Where in Filmora X do you go to speed up or slow down the video? Terry's asking.
Okay. We'll get to that here in just a moment. So this is where I said it looks like you're looking through a camera lens here. It even gives you a battery indicator. Date's not very accurate, but anyway. So let's go back. If you do a right click, now this is for a left-handed person that has the mouse set up in the normal fashion. If you do a right click on the video, this will bring up all of these different things you can do here. So let's just look through them. You can cut the clip here. In other words, split it. You can copy the clip. You can delete the clip. You can do a ripple delete where it goes through and affects other timelines. You can trim to the start of the playhead, trim to the end of the playhead, crop and zoom, crop to fit, rotate, clockwise, counterclockwise, speed and duration, add a freeze frame. You can add an animation. Here's the stabilization. You can do color correction, color match, green screen, motion tracking, and you can copy the effect and delete the effect. Now, there's other ways to get to these. This is just an easy way to do it. It's just for, I think you asked about speeding up and slowing down, speed and duration. Well, here's your speed control. Right now it's set for 1 times, which is just regular run speed. If I want this clip, because that's the only one I'm working on, if I want that to go 8 times faster, we'll say, okay. Well, because it's 8 times faster, it slowed her down, shrunk it. But now, it was so fast you couldn't catch it. I mean, it was there, but that's where you find that. You just do a right click, and this will jump right up into here. You can also get there working on this clip by come up to tools, and that will also get you into that same screen. The tools. Elements. Well, this is where you can do the little fun things. Now, I purposely didn't do this. This is something that I normally do right away when I install something new on the computer. Is it everyone? It might be everyone. Every one of these you see here, at least as a majority of them, have a little down arrow in the upper right-hand corner of the thumbnail. which means to me that there is a picture on the computer here, not the entire effect, just a picture. So if I double click it, it will download the content and put it on the computer. So let's work with Mr. Poopy Pants here. We'll double click that and it's downloaded. So now we'll insert that here, and we have a flying Poopy Pants, I guess. Now, I can resize this, I can move it around, I can edit it. Lots of different things I can do here. Let's do, let me do this. I'm gonna turn that track off for a moment. See, I didn't take it out, it's still there. But on this clip right here, okay, where he was writing, let's do this. I'm going to set the motion tracking on his helmet. I'm sure you all know where I'm going to go with this. All right, so there's the motion tracking, and I'm going to say, start tracking. This must be visible. Maybe it wasn't visible 100% of the time. Let me let's just try it again here. Motion tracking. I'm going to do it on his hand. I'm going to downsize this box. We'll center it on his hand, and we'll start tracking. He went off of it. Let me slow the clip down. Guess I have to get out of this first. Get the motion tracking turned off. We'll say okay. Speed and duration. We're going to slow this down so it lasts longer. You can see what it does. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. So this is the track that I'm working on. We're going to go into motion tracking. We have it turned on. We have our box. In watching that clip, I'm going to put it on his shoulder. It's just going to be easier. That's what we're going to set it. We're going to say start tracking. And now when we play this, Oh, I'm sorry. I goofed. Let's go back. There we go. I had to name it. We'll say okay. And you can see it has put the poo right on his shoulder, and just follows along. So that's the motion tracking. Of course, that's really probably the best example we could do here, but that's just to give you an idea. You can do it with wings. You can do it with anything here, as well as other things. Split screen.
After 9. After 9.
Split screen is one of the easiest things to do in Filmora of all editors. And what this does is it brings down a bracket that you can do 3 different videos. You just, let's go back to sample videos, and we're going to take 1 and 2 and 3. It'll play all 3 at the same time in their own little windows. Obviously, just as long as what those are. And the other thing is, obviously, we're doing this very quickly. But what I wanted to do was just to kind of give you all an idea of some of the capabilities that they have opened up in their editing program. So, new effects, I got 30 new elements, 9 call-out titles. I don't know anything about the touch bar for the Mac, but if you want to see how things have changed in Filmora over the years here, they're not putting dates back on the version 8s, but Susie was somewhere in the 8.3, I think. I'm pretty sure that I got into it at 7.5. Was the first one I got. It's a great program. It's getting better again. And still, just to have the ability to own it and get all the future upgrades forever for free is certainly well worth that. I mean, it wouldn't be if it were $500 or something, but it's not. So if you have any interest in getting this, please use the link below in the description. We would certainly appreciate it. Let's jump back over here. So if is there any more questions? I don't know that I'd use any of those, but it's cool.
Is that also possible in Power Director? Paul's asking.
Yes, it is. Sunny's Place, good evening. Yes, Power Director has a split screen. They have all of that. Power Director has a motion tracker. Homestead Hopeful, I don't think you'll be sorry. I really don't. It's not perfect, but very few things are. So I would certainly certainly give it a go. If you want a little bit more robust editor, at that point, I would recommend the Cybernetics Power Director. And the de facto standard for, I think, YouTube people would be Adobe. But that can be very expensive, like $20 a month forever, just to use it. Or if you're more in the movie type end of it, then DaVinci is probably the best. DaVinci is by far the most expensive if you buy the pieces. They give you a lot for free, but they have special keyboards and things like that to actually do the editing. You could easily invest well over $30,000 into editing with DaVinci Pro. Sonny, I can't recommend it. And the reason I can't is because it's a forever payment. And Premiere Pro can, anything you do with Premiere Pro, I can do with other softwares. That's the only reason. It may be easier in Premiere Pro in some cases. And I'm not saying it's a bad piece of software. I just do not agree with their marketing philosophy. Okay, so I guess that'll do it for tonight. I hope everybody maybe got something they can take away from. And we'll see how the rest of this week goes. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.